more of a peaceful person. I also feel so much more accomplished, and I push myself to limits I thought I could never push myself. I climbed Indian Peak, which is a 9 to 11,000 foot mountain. I put my name in the book up there, and it was probably the hardest, well, the only mountain I've climbed, and it was such a sense of achievement, and it was beautiful at the top, and it's something that I'll remember my whole life. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and I definitely think that you do benefit something out of it. Even though after a few weeks of getting back home, I didn't have the same closeness and connection with my family that I thought I would have after the program. I did lose my anger, and over time, up to now, I guess, me and my family have been slowly working on our problems, and communication has got better. But at the camp, I never really talked about the adoption thing. It was never really brought up. It was mainly just talking about my family and just trying to deal with those issues. It's really only in the past 8 months that I've really come to terms with the adoption and about my birth mum, thinking about her, and maybe, and actually feeling, a lot more wanting to find her and my dad possibly. I've had some very significant events happen in the past 8 months too. In December 2011, I had an abortion. I regret it to this day, and it breaks my heart to know that I rushed into something and didn't think about something so important long enough. I was 17 at the time, and I was so scared. Me and my partner, he was 18. We didn't know how to tell our families because that was something I knew my family would have freaked out about back then. Surprisingly enough, they're actually very supportive and were very supportive, but we were just so scared and we had no idea what to do. So I kind of jumped into the whole abortion thing without thinking twice, and it just happened. And even though I am pro-choice because of some of the situations women are in and the type of situations children could potentially end up in, that's why I think it's good that you have that choice. But I also believe that women should know the type of mental state and the type of, what type of emotions you're going to feel after it, because I didn't think of that because I thought I wouldn't feel any, and I was completely wrong. For 2 weeks after the abortion, I just blocked it out, and I thought, okay, sweet, I'm over it, and I'm just going to forget about that part of my life because it wasn't great and I don't want to think about it. But about a month later, I fell into a really deep depression. I was guilt-ridden. I thought, how could I do something to part of me? I don't even know, part of me, my blood family, and to just have thrown something so important away, I just felt horrible. In February, I turned 18, and in April, I found out I was pregnant, and I was over the moon. I was so excited, and I still am because I am 13 weeks and 6 days pregnant. And even though my partner Tony wasn't as excited as me, he is slowly warming up to it, and I am over the moon. I am just due on December 13th, and I cannot wait. I had my first scan at 8 weeks, and that was the dating scan, and his or her heartbeat was 174 beats per minute. And at 12 weeks, I had a nuchal translucent scan, and that was when Tony could come because he couldn't make it to the first scan because of his work, which he works very hard at as a panel beater. So I could understand how he couldn't make it then. But he made time to come at 12 weeks, which is when we got to hear her heartbeat or his heartbeat and see him or her move for the very first time together. His or her heartbeat was 164 beats per minute, and we saw her move for the first time, and we got to see him or her in 3D. I did the scan just so I could get my risk of Down syndrome, because I have no family history of what diseases I could have in my family since I don't have that information. So I thought just for some peace of mind, I would go and get this scan and a blood test, which was very simple, and all is great. I'm going back for a appointment with my doctor on the 18th, which is exciting. And if there was any problems, they said they would have called. So the fact that they haven't called, I'm hoping and guessing that everything is all good. Being pregnant at the moment is changing my life for the better. Me and Tony have become more mature, closer, and even though he is struggling to accept what is going on, he is still doing a good job of providing me with emotional support and just support, even though he's not as excited and as me. He's still there for me. I am so much more motivated as well to get a stable job and career because I want my baby to be proud of me, and I don't want him or her to think that it's okay to give up and to start things and not finish things. So I've just enrolled in my Animal Studies Certificate 2, so I can then complete my certificate in veterinary nursing, and then I can get a diploma in it, which is a higher qualification to let you work in emergency centres and in more surgical procedures, because I love animals so much. They are my passion. Yeah, I want to show my child that being successful is so important in life, even though I didn't think so a couple years ago. I also have my family support, which means the world to me. The fact that I was so unsure with what they think with the first pregnancy and the abortion, and the fact that they were very supportive of that, even though they didn't support my decision of what I was doing, knowing that they were open to this and knowing that I had their support because they let me know they would support me no matter what goes or happens in my life, that just made it that much easier to be able to tell them this time around what was happening. So I basically told my mum the day I found out, I think, and I was excited. She was shocked, but was excited for me as well because she never got to go through the ultrasounds and never got to go through the whole pregnancy thing. So I guess she can live vicariously through me in this pregnancy, and she was there as well for that nuchal translucent scan, and it was pretty amazing for all of us, and especially her because she never got to really do that. I don't think I could handle the situation as well as I am without my family support, because Tony's family aren't supportive. They are very traditional, and although his mum knows she isn't that supportive as much as my family is, I'm very appreciative that my family are like that. And I know it may not be the perfect situation financially. When is it ever the perfect situation? But I know I will make it, and I will give my child what it needs most, which is love. And I know how important love is because that's what I've dealt with issues my whole life. Wondering whether my adoptee parents love me or they have to love me because they're stuck with me because I was given to them. That's one of the issues I deal with, and they do tell me they love me, and we're dealing with that through family counselling. Also, having your own child grow inside you is a feeling like no other, and one that I cannot explain and could not explain before this. And it's made me really think about the feelings my birth mom would have been going through when she had me. She was 29 and my father was 32 when they gave me up for adoption, but they were unwed, which is apparently frowned upon in South Korea, and the mothers can be left just left out, I think, socially excluded and just frowned upon. So I think there was a lot of pressure for her, and just I think a lot of women to give their babies up for adoption. In the details that I had, it's mentioned a name of a clinic that helps support these single women giving babies up for adoption, and that I think will help me be able to trace her one day. having her name, both my mother and father's name, and also having the support clinic she went to just before having me, I think that leaves a lot of doors open to being able to find them. So I am so grateful that I have possibly got that option of being able to find them. I'm also considering writing to her, my birth mum, because I feel she should know that she's going to become a grandmother, and that means writing to my agency I was adopted from, and they would try getting in contact with her to let her know there's a letter, and it's up to her whether she decides to come in or not. And she might have moved on and has a new family which have no idea that she gave a child up for adoption, and just there's so many different circumstances that can change everything. So it's not something I'm going to get my hopes up on, but it's definitely something I'm going to most probably do, just because knowing how much I love my baby growing in me, I can safely, or hopefully safely say that the choice my birth mum made was out of love, because I don't understand how anyone could not love what's a part of them growing inside of them. And I know even in the worst situation for me, I could not give my child up for adoption just because of the things I've gone through. And I don't think I'd be able to emotionally be able to handle giving my child up for adoption and knowing that they're going to be wondering why. And they're going to be wondering the same questions as I did too. And I could not do that to my child. I am so excited on having my own child that is blood related to me, that's going to look like me. And it's just amazing feeling. So me and my family have also been getting on heaps better since the baby. Me and my mum have been going out shopping sometimes, looking around for baby things. She's bought me a baby book that I've started writing in, and there's a family tree as well. And it was a bit confusing because I didn't know whether to put my Korean name and those kind of things. I ended up just putting my adopted family's names just to keep it simple for now, just so there's no confusion when he or she's younger, and that can be explained about mum's parents and everything like that when he or she is older. Yeah, me and my mum are also going to counselling too, where feedback is passed through the counsellor in separate sessions, because with me and my mum together, just in past counselling sessions, it's just been way too confronting for me, and I find it hard to open up to my parents. The counselling is helping me though be more open towards my parents and dealing with my issues of being adopted. I would not change my life, and even though there are some issues, they can be dealt with, and I can just make changes in my life that can help this by trying to find my birth mum, giving my child the best life it can possibly have. And being adopted has made my life interesting and amazing, and I hope to find more of you out there that are adopted, whether that's from any other country, or whether that's from Korea. I'd love to get to know you and hear your experiences. And knowing how relatable me and Kelly's were, it's just great, like getting her emails and writing back to her, and to be able to hear from anyone else who's adopted or just anyone who's interested would be great. And you can send me an email or just ask questions, and I will try to answer them as best I can. So thank you, and I hope to hear from people soon. Thanks. Bye.